Blessed be the name of the Lord. He is worthy to be praised and adored. So we lift up holy hands, one accord, singing, blessed be the name, blessed be the name, blessed be the name of the Lord. Holy is the name of the Lord. He is worthy to be praised and adored. So we lift up holy hands, one accord, sing, holy is the name, holy is the name, holy is the name of the Lord. Hello viewers, welcome to BSK Music Center. In today's lesson, I'm going to be dealing with how to find the chords, how to find any chord. A lot of folks outside there do not know how to find any chord, and there are various chords that we are going to be looking at, and these include the major chord, the minor chord, the suspended fourth, the augmented, the minor major seventh, and many others. So keep watching up to the end of the video, and I'm going to direct you how to find these chords. If you are new to this channel, what I ask you to do is to kindly subscribe to my channel so that you can be getting more content when we upload new videos. Thanks. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to get chords, and I'm going to use one of the simplest keys, that is C. C. To be able to know how to form these chords, you need to know the numbering system. It is very important to know the numbering system. That is the major scale. And somebody may be wondering, how do I get the major chord, rather the major scale for any key? I'm going to be giving you a formula for finding the major scale. After getting the major scale, it will be easier for you to form these chords, the minor chords, the major chords, suspended, and so on and so forth. So the formula I'm going to give you, it helps you to get the major chord. First things first. If you want to get the major chord for any key you want to play, for example C, you use this formula I'm about to give you. You skip a whole step in the first place from Do to Re. You skip a whole step from Re to Mi. You skip a whole step from Mi to Fa. You don't skip, that is, you do a half step from F to G, that is Fa to So. You skip a whole step from So to La. you skip a whole step. From La to T, you skip a whole step. And then finally, from T to Do, it is a half step. A half step is where you don't skip any key. You strictly go to the next key. So let's do it once again. The formula is, the formula is you skip from Do to Re, you skip from Re to Mi, you skip from Mi to Fa, you don't skip, that is a half step. From Fa to So, it is a whole step. From So to La, it is a whole step. From La to T, it is a whole step. From T to Do, it is a half step. You don't skip. That works for all the 12 keys. We can try some other key. Let us try out C sharp. From, this is the Do. This is your starting point now. From Do to Re, in case I don't know the next note in the major scale, if I want to get Re, I follow this formula. You skip, skip, don't skip, 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 don't skip. So you skip twice, you don't skip. You skip thrice, you don't skip. Let's do it in the key of C sharp. This is going to be your starting point, C sharp, and it is going to be your Do. So to get the Re, you skip a whole step. That is your Re. Then from Re to Mi, you skip a whole step. That is your Mi. From Mi to Fa, you don't skip. From Fa to So, you skip. From So to La, you skip. From La to T, you skip. From T to Do, you don't skip. So we have Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. Okay, let's go back to the key. You can try out different major scales for different keys. Let's go back to the key of C. Remember, I want to teach you how to get these chords, the ninth chord, the augmented, and so on and so forth. But first, you have to know how to get the major scale. This is very, very important. Okay, let us proceed. From Do to Re, you skip. From Re to Mi, you skip. From Mi to Fa, you don't skip. From Fa to So, you skip. From So to La, you skip. From La to T, you skip. From T to Do, you skip. You don't skip. That is a half step. So after getting the major scale, you have to give these solfas numbers from Do to T. So Do is going to be your number 1, Re is going to be your number 2, Mi is going to be your number 3, Fa is going to be your number 4, So is going to be your number 5, La is going to be your number 6, T is going to be your number 7, and the next Do is going to be your number 8 in terms of position, but in terms of tonality, it is number 1. It is the same as this one. It's only the pitch that it differs. But in terms of position, this is number 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? And we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and so on. So, after knowing that, you have gotten the numbering system, we are going to form number 1, a major chord. Okay guys, after finding the numbering system, that is the Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we are going ahead to find the major chord. A lot of folks there have been teaching how to get the major chord. Some have the 54 principle, some use other methods, but I'm going to give the 32 principle. The 32 principle is where you, from the home note, any key you choose, whose major chord you want to find, you skip 3 notes. That is 1, 2, 3. So I'm skipping 1, 2, 3, and then pressing the 4th note, then skipping more to 1, 2. That is the major chord for C, the C major chord. Others would be saying the major chord is a 1, 3, 5. The major chord is a 1, 3, 5. But in case that confuses you, you can just do it this way. From the note whose major chord you want to find, you skip 3 notes. So from C here, I'm going to skip 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. That is the 32 principle. Then I press the 4th. Then I count more to 1, 2. I press the 3rd one. So this is the 32 principle for finding a major chord for any key. For any key you choose to play, you can find its major chord. So this is the major chord for C. The major chord is 1, 3, 5. Okay, after finding the major chord, we are going to build all the other chords basing on this major chord. Because some people have been wondering, why do they call this chord a 6th chord? How do they call it a 9th chord? Why? So this is the reason. They consider the numbering system. So on this major chord, if you get, for example, a 6th note, which is this, so this is the 1st note, 2nd note, 3rd note, 4th note, 5th note, and this is the 6th note in the major scale of C. This is the 6th note. A is the 6th note in the major scale of C. So if you get the 6th note and you add it to the major chord, you form a 6th chord. Or they call it add 6th. This is a 6th chord. Okay? So, in case I want to form another chord, maybe like a major 7th chord, I'm going to consider the 7th note. It is the 7th note which I'm going to add on the major chord to form a major 7th. So this is the major chord, 1, 3, 5. If I add the 7th note on the major chord, which is this, I get a major 7th chord. Okay. And how do we get a minor chord? After getting the major chord, using the 32 principle, that is skip 3 notes, press, skip 2, press, you lower the middle note by a half step to get a minor chord. So in this case, I'm going to be lowering this to a half step, and this is going to be a C minor. Okay, this is a C major and this is a C minor. So to get any minor, you get a major chord and you lower the middle note by a half step. That's how they get a minor chord. Okay, let me try some other chord. Let us consider a 9th chord. A 9th chord is like this. This is a 9th chord. Okay? I've just shifted from this octave to this. So a 9th chord. Following the same guide, we are adding the 9th note on a major chord. So if you see, this is the 1st note, 2nd note, 3rd note, 4th note, 5th note, 6th note, 7th note. This is the 8th note in terms of position, and this is the 9th note. Okay, so if we get this major chord and we add a 9th note, that becomes a 9th chord. Okay? But because here the spanning, the fingering span is not favored, here it's not favorable, So I have to shift this note, the D note, to the one which is easier to press. So this is how we form a ninth chord. Okay, let me try some other chord. We are going to do another chord like a minor major seventh. Okay, so far we have seen how to get a major seventh, which is simply adding the seventh note on the major chord in the major scale. We are simply adding the seventh note. This is the seventh note in the major scale of C, and we are simply adding it to the major chord. Then it becomes a major, a C major seventh in this case. How about the minor major seventh? Just as you can hear the name minor major seventh. So it is a combination of a minor and then a major seventh. It is a minor major seventh. So on the major seventh, we simply lower the third note in the major scale by a half step. In other words, you get a minor for that key, in this case which is C, and to get a minor we lower the middle note by a half step, and we simply add the seventh note. So here we have a minor major seventh. It is that simple. Minor major seventh. Okay, and for the minor ninth, this is the major ninth, and this is, if we get this note, the middle note, the third note, and we lower it by a half step, we get a ninth, a minor ninth. Okay, let us go ahead to find some other chords like the suspended fourth. Okay, to get a suspended fourth, you just raise the middle note by a half step. You go to 4. Here it is hanging. The note is hanging. The fourth note is hanging. That's why it is called a suspended fourth. It is suspended here. So from the third note, we simply raise the third note by a half step, and here we get a suspended fourth. For any key, you can try it out. After getting the major chord, you raise the middle note by a half step, you will be getting a suspended fourth for that key. In this case, this is a C suspended fourth. For C sharp, after getting the major chord using the 32 principle, we are skipping 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This is the major chord. For C sharp, we simply raise the middle note by a half step. Okay? And that's how we get a suspended fourth for any key. Let us try for D, the last one. This is D, and to get the major chord for D, you skip 3 notes. 1, 2, 3. Press the next one, then skip more to 1, 2. That is the major chord. And to get a suspended fourth for D, you simply raise the middle note by a half step. That's how they form a suspended. Okay, going back to C, I want to show you how to get some other chords like 6th add 9th. This is a 2 in 1 chord. You simply combine a 6th chord and a 9th chord. So you get a major chord, you add the 6th note, you get a 6th. You add the 9th note, you get a 9th. Okay? And we can shift this from this position to this. So this is how they get a 6th add 9th. Okay? Okay. Progressing to get some other chord like the augmented chord. To get any augmented chord, you simply raise the 5th note by a half step. Okay, so this is C augmented, or they call it C plus 5. C plus 5. So if you simply raise the 5th note by a half step, and you will be getting an augmented chord in any key. That is the formula for getting an augmented chord. You simply get the major chord and you raise the fifth note by a half step. So that is an augmented chord. So what happens if we lower the fifth note by a half step? There we get a 11th, all a flatted fifth. We are simply flatting the fifth. And some softwares, like chord interpreters, they read it a 11th chord. But here, it is a flatted fifth. We are simply flatting, we are lowering the fifth note by a half step. So that's how they get a flatted fifth chord. Okay, how about a diminished chord? A diminished chord, excuse me, a diminished chord is gotten by lowering the middle note and the fifth notes by a half step each. So if this is the major chord for C, if we lower the middle note and the fifth note by a half step each, we get a diminished chord for C. So this is C diminished. And if we want to get a C diminished 7, we simply add that is the C diminished chord. Okay, there are some other chords like a dominant seventh. A dominant seventh is gotten by adding the note which is between the 6th and 7th notes by a half step. Let me repeat. A dominant 7th chord is got by adding the note which is in between the 6th and 7th notes. So the note which is between the 6th and 7th notes, in this case it is this. So the dominant 7th for C, it will be this. Okay, that is the dominant 7th, and that will work for the 12 keys as long as you can grasp this formula for finding various chords. It will be helping you. But all things rotate around the numbering system. That is the major scale, and you give the numbers to each of those solfas, the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, I'll be showing you more chords and how to use these chords, because somebody may be knowing how to press a 9th chord, a minor chord, a diminished chord, an augmented chord, a flatted 5th, a minor major 7th chord, and all the other chords. Somebody may be good at knowing them, but using them, it is the most important thing. Okay guys, thanks for watching. That's how you form some of those chords. I'll be coming to you with more chords and showing you how to apply them. Thanks for watching. In case you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so, and also click the notification bell so that you can know when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and God bless.